Did you know that you can make a huge amount of money by simply buying domain names and selling the same domain names to other people? Well, maybe you have no idea how this works, and that's why I'm here with Neil Napier today. He's going to explain you how you can do this very easily. So first of all, Neil, thanks for being here, man.
Thanks, Tim. Great to be here.
Awesome. Hey, so you're here because you're launching a product that makes it easy for people to find domain names, to sell domain names. I don't have much experience in this area, but I've heard a lot of stories. Also on Facebook, a lot of marketers that are following. They buy domain names for like $8 or $10, and then they sell them for, well, it depends, sometimes hundreds, sometimes thousands, and sometimes thousands of dollars. So can you tell us a little bit more about the product that you're going to launch, what it is, what it does, why people should be interested in this?
Yeah, absolutely. I'll say this first, that I think domain flipping, as we call it, and I'll explain the concept in a second, is quite different to a lot of other products and services that we tend to release and promote. Because typically when we promote something, it's about, adding something to your business. Like, this is how you get social media fans to your fan pages, or this is how you publish content or do videos. And they all support what you're currently doing, which is fantastic. I think that's where a lot of people focus on. But we wanted to give people the ability to have a side business that they could spend 5 to 10 minutes a week once it's set up, just to manage, just to do inventory, and still make a little bit of side income. Now, that side income could go anywhere between $100 to as much as $10,000 a month, depending again on the scale at which they're doing, how lucky they get, what domains they're picking. But domain flipping is actually quite interesting because with everything that you do online, you build up your fan page, you build up your blog, which depends on Google for traffic, for example. You're always relying on third-party services to give you something, to give you traffic, to give you leads and sales. We wanted something where you could actually own an asset and still make money from that asset. So domain flipping is a concept of buying domain names at a lower price and selling them at a higher price based on demand, requirements, and so on. It's no different to, say, investing in a property. Like, you want to buy an apartment or a house, and then maybe you want to improve it, or even if not improve it, but 2-3 years later, you sell it for a multiple. So that's exactly what domain flipping is, where you own assets that are domain names. And then when the time is right, when you meet the right buyer, you basically sell them.
It's like you're going to search for a property, and you say, hey, this is a nice property that people are interested in. I'm going to buy it for a low price right now. And then after a certain time, it's being way more worth, and people like to pay much more for it. And that's the same thing with domain names. And domain names is something that's constantly growing, right? It's not something that stops, because new products are coming out every day. New brands are coming out every day. So that area expands all the time.
Yeah, like I will say, like with property or land, there is a limited number of domain names available, limited number of good domain names available. So if you want to go for domain names with 5 or 6 letters, there's a limited quantity of them out there. So there's always going to be demand for something like that. There's always going to be, let's say, if there's a doctor living in London, he may want a website called londondoctors.net or .com. So there's always going to be demand for those. And I agree that it's something that you can buy for as little as $10. And then you can sell it further for hundreds or sometimes even thousands of dollars.
Yeah. So the product that you're bringing out, is it a training? Is it a software that people can use? What do you have for them?
Great question. So it's a combination of both training and software. So we have noticed over some time now that other people have become really good at finding these hidden gems, and they buy them and then they sell them. So what I've done is I've done a 9-part video training. So it's about a couple of hours long, which you can go through, and from the start to finish, you understand what domain flipping is, how to find profitable domains, how to increase their valuation, how to sell them, how to do all the transactions so it's secure, mitigating legal stuff. So all that is covered in the training. And along that, we're giving a tool that gives you expired domains. It gives you domains that are available to buy right now. It gives you domains that are premium domains, so they have very high value and someone's selling them for a high price, so you can review them and you can buy them as well, and a ton of other things too, which I'd love to show if you can on this call.
Yeah, sure. Let's dive into it. If you can show us a demo, would be great.
Yeah, sure. So let me go into this. I think you should now see our dashboard.
Yes, we can see the screen.
Yeah, perfect. Everything is. So within this, you've got expired domains, which is one of the first places where people are going to find new domain names. So for example, Rebellion Skin is a pretty good domain name for an e-commerce company, which is selling skincare products. And I'm quite sure that if I go to Namecheap and look for this right now, Rebellion Skin is going to be available most likely for €10 a month, a year, which is about $12 a month. So I think for even just buying and holding this domain, it's a great idea because if an e-commerce company wants to start a skincare business, they'd be like, hey, we're interested in this as a brand. This sounds really good, and we pay you like a couple of $1,000s for this.
Nice.
So those are the kind of deals that we advise people to look for, is something with clear use case, something with a brand name. Obviously, you want to make sure you don't infringe on someone's trademark. And if you can find those kind of domains, that's exceptional. And, you should just like get them immediately because that's going to, like this one, another one, Sleeping Fix. It's a perfect name for a mattress company or a company offering sleeping pills. And then with this, we also share how many backlinks these domains have. So obviously
nice.
the domain has a lot of Sorry?
Nice. I see that. So Southwest Number has over 2,000 backlinks. Well, I can see that.
Exactly. So this is going to be more valuable. This is going to have higher SEO value. And you can see this was first registered in 2019, but it's become available now. And if you want to buy that, I'm quite sure this is also going to be about $15 per year at the time of this session anyway. Someone might watch this and buy that domain name, and that's okay. But there's...
But this is a list right now that you're seeing. Where do you pull that information from? I mean, I can imagine that people can also search in the list for specific domain names or keywords in the domain names, etc.
Yeah, they can. So we consolidate this from various places. But let's say if I wanted to find some other domain names with the keywords in it, it's going to give me all of these different domains.
Nice. And those are all expired domains.
Yes, those are expired domains or are expiring soon. Like some of them are going to expire in like a couple of days. But usually we give you domains that are already available, but sometimes we let you know like something else is coming up. But you can also actually do that via hunted domain. So if you are interested in, let's say, a competitor domain and you want to be alerted when it becomes available, when they forget to renew it, you can go to hunted domain and you can add those in there, and we'll give you a notification when the domain becomes available.
Oh, nice.
Another one is AI domain generator. So I'm just going to actually open up one of these. It's faster to show you. So let's say if I wanted to look for local domain names, I can look for domain names which relate to or have the word London in them because that's who I want to target. And then it also tells me what their estimated value is. And if you wanted to then sell it, would it be hard to sell it? Would it be easy to sell it, or would it be kind of medium complexity? So it gives you all these details, and you can find some domains like londonmarketing.com, londonb2b.net, and even that is worth $1,400, right? So it's worth going out there and booking this domain. If you feel that, hey, I can sell domains to my London clients quite easily, it's worth booking this domain at like $13 per year. And then just contacting your clients and saying like, hey, if you're looking for a domain on, for marketing in London, I've got a really good domain, which I'll give it to you at 500.
So you can there are also places where you can sell those domain names, right? Are you going to explain that as well inside of the training?
Yeah, it's covered. So within the training, so I'll just show you, we have a full domain flipping course, and we've got this training 30 minutes long where I cover some of the locations where you can actually sell these domains. Of course, what you can also do is you can list your domains with us. And right now we have a marketplace that is building. So obviously it's not very big, but within that marketplace, you're able to then go buy domains, you're able to sell domains as well. And that way we'll have our own place basically where people can come and buy domains as well in the future as we continue to build it. But yes, there's GoDaddy auctions. There's I think Sedo, there is another one. So I cover a lot of these, like there's 5-6 of the big ones that I cover within the training that everyone gets access to when they get DomainProphets.
Nice. So when you're using the tool, when you go through searching new domain names, etc., are you buying the domain names directly from your company?
No. So you buy domain names.
It's just a search tool.
Yes,
to give
so
you the
we are
information.
just a search tool. Exactly. We don't have the capacity to actually own the domain names ourselves, but all these domains are accessible via Namecheap or GoDaddy, like especially the expired domains because they're available. So you're welcome to go and buy directly from one of these services. And honestly, they're great at what they do. They give you affordable pricing. You can Google coupon codes. I talk about that in the training too. So you save a lot of money there as well. But we also have premium domains. So we curate premium domain list as well. Now, this is obviously not as big, but these are already selling, for example, for $2,500. Some of them are selling for, I think I saw earlier, there was one selling for $250,000.
Wow.
And it was a great domain name. So, in this case, what I advise people to do is if you have a client that might already be interested in something like Cushbit, sounds more like a sort of, legal weed services. So if you could contact your client and say, hey, would you be interested in that domain? Most of the people that are running businesses don't know where and how to buy a domain name. So it's not like if you get them a domain name, they're going to run to buy it.
Yeah.
But you can say, I can get this for you for like $10,000 and they'll pay you, negotiate, they'll pay you 8, you buy it for 4,000 and you keep the difference. I mean, this I only advise people to do when they have money in their pocket to do. Otherwise, it's too expensive to buy and then hold on to.
So at the start of the interview, you said it's going to depend. You can make $100 a month, you can make $1,000 a month or more. On what area is that based most? I mean, you say now you can sell this to your client. Is that what you're focusing on, or is it that you focus on the marketplace where people can purchase your domain names, etc.? What's the idea behind the 100, 2,000, or 10,000 a month?
Yeah, it's a great question. So sometimes you may already have clients that you can confidently go to and sell a domain, in which case, of course, it's going to be easy. Sometimes you may have domains already sitting with you. So like I, for example, have hundreds of domains. I'm using about 60 of them, 40 I'm not using. So I could list all 40, and some of them would sell, for example, for $100 because some of them are just simple names. There's not much to them, but some of them might be quite expensive. Like I talk about a domain that we bought, Kaivia.com, where we spent $4,000 buying it because it was relevant to us. It was a 5-letter domain, and we knew it just made sense for what we wanted to do.
Yeah.
So there, the branding and the story comes into play as well. So the point I was making earlier, you're right, is like, what's the difference between 100 and 1,000 a month? Like, what does someone have to do? So let's say if you were to play conservatively here and you were to buy, I would say, 40 domains, like just 40 domains. So you're spending about $400 a year on this approximately, or $500 a year. Out of those 40 domains, even with very minimal marketing, if you just list these domains on GoDaddy, by the way, we have just to show you this, we have a domain valuation tool. So before you buy a domain, you can quickly check technically how much it would be worth. So if you were to spend 400 and get, let's say, 40 domains, you could quite easily flip in a year without doing any extensive marketing. You could quite easily flip 10% of those. So you could flip 4 of those. On average, now this is not going to be easy for people starting fresh, but on average, a domain name that is sold, that is flipped, costs about $2,500. That's average. But let's say if you were to conservatively sell it for even 500. So, instead of 2,500, you're selling it for 500 because it's your first time, but that still gives you $2,000 in your pocket, which is, 5x of what you put in. And over the year, where you're just putting 5 minutes a week, just seeing if anyone's messaged you or publishing it somewhere, listing it somewhere, which takes minutes, you will end up making $100 or $200 a month easy. That's by doing bare minimum. If you add to it, if you spend some time actually finding good domain names, if you spend some time marketing, instead of 5 minutes, if you spend an hour a day, that could easily scale up to 1,000 a month or even more at the end of it. That's what some people do. Like, I think both of us are in circles where we know people that are making 6 figures a year by just buying and selling domain names.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, so that brings me to my next question. I mean, a lot of people on our list also say, hey, I like to have a new opportunity where I can make some nice extra cash, but I do not have experience. I like to just have one solution. Even this week, I had someone asking me, hey, Tim, if I could do one thing, what thing would you advise me to do? So this could be one of those options, or is it too hard for a beginner to get started with this tool?
Oh, it is not hard at all. Like for starters, I will say this is set and forget. Over time, I've built up my business in a way where I wanted to be set and forget, so I can do other things that I wanted to, spend time with the family, play sports, that sort of thing. But in terms of experience itself, like I said earlier, almost everyone has domain names sitting around. And at the very least, if they follow the training and if they list their domain name here and in a few other places I recommend, within a month or two, typically domain names take a month or two to sell. I read a statistic that's 40% of domain name, 45% of domain names that go in auction sell, in the desired time period that you want to sell it at. So in that sense, it's going to be quite easy for someone to see returns. This is quite different to, as I was saying, publishing content on social and doing content on blog, which again, I talk about and I think is really effective. But if you want a side income and something that actually gives you positive ROI, gives you that feeling of, yep, I'm doing something that's working, this is the fastest way to do that. Again, it's not going to make someone a millionaire until you really scale in. So I will say that scaling it to a million a year is harder,
Yeah.
but getting to 1,000 a month is actually quite easy with domain flipping.
Nice. So people that are getting started, this is something they can do just by going through the training. And one thing that I also thought about is you don't need any traffic for this product because you can list them on platforms that bring traffic automatically, right? So basically the idea is to just be creative, use your tool, because how can you use your tool to find the best domain names? I mean, you just be creative, or how do you do that? Do you use the AI part in the software? What would be the normal way for somebody to get started?
Yeah, it's a very good question. So as I mentioned, if you have a client that you already know I could sell this to, then you can focus on that. So you can focus on, let's say, dentists. Because
But let's say we
really
don't have any clients. I just don't know anyone. I'm here on my own. I just want to flip domains. Neil, how can I do that?
Okay, two ways. You pick a niche. So you can say, okay, I'm interested in skincare products or skincare treatments. You double down on that. Alternatively, and this is going to take a little bit more search for you, so you're going to have to do this yourself. But you can take, for example, copy this domain name Rebellion Skin and go into domain valuations, which is again built into this tool. And when you go in there, you can just add that domain name here, and you can see how much is that worth. So we give a rough valuation. This is worth $5,000 because of a variety of reasons. Primarily, like I was saying, it's good for e-commerce and you can blog and so on. So it's worth $5,000, and you can get it for $15 a year. Go get it. Like, it's a very, very good ROI potential. On the other hand, you might find, as you're searching through this list, you might find domains that are only worth $150. It's not worth it. Like, sure, yeah, you could make some money, but that's not where I would spend my money. So come up with a number, say, okay, I'm only going to buy domains which are worth, $1,500 or more, because I think $1,500 compared to $15 investment, it's a pretty good ROI potential. And you just buy like 20 of those.
But let's say you just take the domain name that you just saw that was worth, what did you say, how much?
5,000.
Yeah. So how hard is it to sell the domain name? Because I'm thinking, hey Neil, why don't you buy all those domain names yourself that you're seeing on the list there, right? So how hard is it to sell a domain like that?
It's not hard because there are services out there that will already do them for you. If you've got a domain name that's worth a whole lot more, you can actually hire brokers. I'm talking domains which are worth 100,000 or more. But something like this, you can go and list on GoDaddy auctions, right? So you can actually sign up with them and you can say, hey, I have a domain to sell. They're going to take a percentage, of course, from that, but you can sell it by them. They handle the traffic. You can have minimum price as well. So you can say, I don't want to sell it below $1,000. And then they will take care of getting the traffic because they already get traffic for that. So it's a good question. If this is so good, why am I not doing it? Because one, I have a lot of other things to do. And two, there's no lack of domains. There's literally 130,000 domains here. A tenth of them, so 10% of them, about 13,000 domains or so, are worth over 1,500 or more. So, at the end of the day, even I will get tired of like tracking everything and, putting $15 a year for each. But that's what you should do. If you have a bit of cash and if you want to just put in and start to slowly see it mature and get an ROI.
And there's also a way to increase the value by having an ID, for example, for a domain name, and then put a website on it and make it even more attractive, right? I think that's also what you will be explaining in the course.
Yes, exactly. And that's what happened with us with Kyvio. So we bought it because of the story that someone explained on their listing. So they said Kyvio means know your visitor inside out. And we were like, hey, we have an app idea, which is perfect for this. So we get the domain name, then we build out the app. And that's why we're happy to pay $4,000 for it. So you're right. If you have the branding, because they had done the logo as well, not that great, but they had done it. The color, the logo, if you can add a story to it, it's so much more valuable. So maybe someone watching this and thinking, hey, I'm a copywriter or I'm really good at designs. Yeah, you can buy domain names that could have a good story, and then you make up a story about them, and then you list them as well. The only challenge in that case is like if you go to places like GoDaddy domain auctions, you can't really tell a story here, right? But someone might click on it and they might go to the domain where you can have the website, like you had said, and say this domain is for sale, and this is what you can do with it.
Yeah. Nice. Yeah, and I now remember that I said that I have no experience by flipping domains, but actually I bought a domain name when it just got started. And what it did, it was a domain name with Angry Birds. I don't know if you know that game on the phone.
I do remember that game,
buyangrybird.com or something like that. And then I built a shop on top of that domain name. And I actually sold those Angry Birds as well. These are just for,
Wow.
how do you call these things? For little kids, they cuddle with it, you know? So
Yeah.
I sold them. I bought them in China with drop shipping. I sold them. And then later I was like, I don't want to do this. And I sold the whole website with the domain name, and I made a big profit on that domain with a shop already on it. So that was a good thing. So that's the same thing that you can do with domain names that you find. You can build something on top of it so that you have a ready done for you business for somebody else that can purchase, hey, this is a done for you thing. I can use this to start my business. So that's a cool thing.
Yeah, that's value add, and I think that's very effective as well.
Yeah. So I don't know when I'm going to upload this video, probably before there's a webinar, maybe after the webinar. But if this video will be uploaded before there is a webinar, can you tell us a little bit more about it? When is the webinar? When do they need to sign up, etc.?
Absolutely. So on the 7th of November, which is a Thursday at 10 a.m. Eastern, is when we are doing a webinar to present this in much more detail. To kind of, so I talked about the training, and that's an extensive training, but I took some parts of that training to also share live on the call, so you get an idea of what's included. So there's going to be that webinar at 10 a.m. Eastern on the 7th of November. And of course, you have to sign up for that before then. If you do, you get on the webinar and we're able to show you the whole funnel, like basically everything that's included, and you get an early bird deal for that product as well.
Nice. As a thank you for taking action early.
Yes, absolutely. And some bonuses. We always do bonuses exclusively for people on the webinar.
Okay, cool. So is there anything else, Neil, that you'd like to share about the product or...
Yeah, absolutely. I just want to add this as well, that I know there's I have friction sometimes in starting something new. It's completely understandable because you're like, I don't know enough about this sort of thing. But I can guarantee you that the 2-hour training that I've done is more than extensive, more than what you need. So just go through that, just implement this, and you're going to find that you can actually do this passively, unlike a lot of other things that you have to do. So this is going to be actually fun because as you keep doing it, you're going to discover new things. You will discover like, hey, what is it that I like? What does work for me? You can review places where domains are being sold, and you can say, okay, if this domain, for example, a Reality Biz News is selling for $7,000, so €6,500, you could go for domains that have the keyword news in them, and potentially, if you buy like even 10 of them, chances are that some of them are going to turn around and sell for a similar price, if not as high, like at least like half of it. So those are the kind of things that I'm going to be teaching as well on the training webinars that we'll be doing. And I think this is something that anyone can just dip their toes in, get more experience, and just keep doing on the side. They don't need to stop what they're doing to do this. Just a little bit of work every week, and that's enough.
Nice. Well, sounds amazing. I like what I've seen so far. Also seen the tool a bit. If you're interested, guys, make sure, if you're seeing this before the webinar starts, make sure to sign up for that webinar to get it for the best available price, to get that part of the training from Neil as well. I'm also going to give you an extra bonus if you pick it up through my link. And thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to check it out. And Neil, thanks for being here, man.
Yep, thanks for having me here, Tim.
You're welcome, and all the best. And guys, thank you so much for watching. See you in my next video. Talk soon. Cheers.